Alright, I've got a couple recumbent bikes right here. I've got my new one, which is a Catrike. Nice, low, sleek, big wheel in the back so it can go fast. And then I've got this no-name brand one back here that I used to ride. And you can see that I've got a big thing on the bottom, splash guard you could call it, I guess. But it's actually the bottom of this capsule that went on top of that increased my speed by about 1/3. There's one section of road up here I used to be able to go 21 miles an hour. And when I had that on there, I could go 28 miles an hour. And I wanted to build a similar but better and more sleek and more enclosed capsule for this bike. So I bought some pipe over here, and I bought some fittings, and I'm going to take this off the wall and set it up on one of these two bikes. Actually, it'll fit on either bike right now. That's why there's a guard right here that keeps it pulled in, and right here is the mount that see if I can see the pipe in here. Yeah, you can see that upside down U-shaped pipe that goes all the way across, and that's what fits either on this spot on this bike or on this spot on this bike. The problem with this capsule, okay, the first step in building this capsule right here is to put the front together. Now on this one here I had an 1.5 inch pipe like this one here, and I decided, since that's fairly heavy, I'm going to use a lightweight 1.25 inch like drain pipe for a bathroom sink. And on the other one we had two pipes going into there, and on this one we have 1.5 pipes. The first pipe is a 1/2 inch pipe, and this half pipe is 3/4 inch pipe that I've cut in half on a table saw. And notice first I bent the corner, and then I heated up the half pipe, squished it together, and pushed it in there. Same thing on this side. And the reason I want a half pipe is because the top half of that capsule is going to sit. It's going to have a pipe same as this, 1/2 inch, and it's going to sit right in that pipe like that, and that's going to hold it in place and seal everything off. So that's the reason. Okay, so I've got the two pipes bent at an angle, and in order to get that angle I set it right up next to this, since I've already got this one built and this is the shape that I want. I put the pipe right here, and then I bent it to here, and I held it there until it cooled, and I got that angle. And so now I've got to rivet all that together and then put a brace across here, which is going to be equivalent to either this one or this one, and see if I've got to heat it to be able to bend it around so that the back ends touch. So I'm going to rivet that together in place and then see what we got. Okay, here's my bike set up to enter the way I had the old capsule designed, and I've got the bar sitting on top of basically my jug holders, and I get in there, sit down, and then pull this down over my head and set that bar right down into there. And well, let me set that up right now. Set this over here so I can see if I can show you the whole thing. Yeah, like that. I'm not going to do it from the inside because I got to do it from the outside anyway. Like that. And it's almost in place. Close enough. I've got my... It's almost in place. It's not exactly in place, but anyway, that's how it goes onto the bike. And of course with this bike, the only way I can see out is to put enough padding on my seat. I've got a pad right here that I built special to put onto my seat so I can see far enough over top of this to be able to see. Now you can see right here that my thing is not really in the spot where it belongs. But what I'm going to do with this bike is I'm going to build a new capsule almost the same shape as the bottom of this, but this is going to be the roof right back here. Instead of a place to put my head up through, like that, like a Velomobile, it's going to be down low enough. My feet are going to fit in there the same way they do now. Basically the same size, maybe a couple inches narrower because my bike is considerably narrower. And I'm going to cover it with a different material. But this spot right here, from this spot right here forward, is going to be clear. And then the front is going to be clear all the way up to here. And clear around the side over here. So I'm going to have a windshield and side windows that I can see out, so I don't have to have my head sticking up. So it'll be down considerably lower. And that top part will be gone. And of course the bottom is going to be completely closed in except for where the wheels stick out. And that's going to be slightly different. And the way I get in is going to be slightly different because the bottom is going to be attached to the bike and it's going to split right here on this line. And the whole top is going to hinge. I'm going to have a piano hinge right across here. And it's going to lift up so I can step right in onto the bike and then slide myself down inside. And then close the hatch from the top, and I'll have windshield to see out, and I'll be able to take off from there. And it'll be completely closed in. There won't be any open bottom like I've got now. Even on this one, where the pipe went right here in front of the tires, it had an open spot here that I closed up with these two little floorboards that I built that have room for my feet to go down into to pedal. But on this one it's going to set down lower so it doesn't have to have that. But even with those in, I had an open spot from here to here. So there was a big open spot where the air could get up in. And it was, you know, not tight around here. I want it a lot tighter. I want it so just the tire is sticking out, kind of like this one. You know, it's almost hitting the side of the tire right here. I want just the tire to stick out. All three tires the same way. So that's what I'm going to build. And we're going to take pictures and videos while we're doing it so that we can show you how to build this thing. And gee, this one here weighs 20 pounds, maybe 25 by the time you get this bottom strapped onto the bike, so it's enclosed fully. And the one I'm building for this bike is not going to have that metal pipe underneath. It's not going to have this top part, and some of the other pieces are going to be lighter weight, and the covering is going to be lighter weight. And I'm not going to need the glue to glue the edge of this plastic to the pipe. So that's going to be lighter. So hopefully when I get done, I'll have 15 to 20 pounds total added to the bike, so I can have a really fast racing machine. Now to get the riveting set so I've got the right angle, I came over here and I noticed way up in here, this straight section from here to here is about 12 inches, and we have a 7-inch separation from 12 inches out from the fulcrum. So over here, 12 inches out, we have 7 inches. So if I rivet it together like that, I will have the right angle to be able to, you know, start building the rest of it. And got to do that on both sides. Okay, I've got one rivet in both sides. I used extra long rivet, 1/2 inch reach, to go through both layers of this top half pipe and into the second full pipe. So I've got that all set up. Now, notice on the old capsule, the bottom is fairly flat most of the way, and then it goes up. And it goes up so that the front of it, I believe, was 8 inches. Yeah, 8 inches to the center of that pipe. So I want to do the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the whole thing upside down so that the half pipe is straight, because this part here is going to be fairly straight. If we look down through there at an angle, it's fairly straight all the way around. So I'm going to lay that pipe upside down on the floor, and then the top pipe is going to be sticking up in the air, and I'm going to heat this section right from here to here, heat it up so that it'll bend. That's how I bent those. I don't remember if I explained that, but I used the torch that's sitting right there in the plumbing box. This torch and this can, like that. And I'm going to heat up that pipe and make a gradual bend in it, and then let it cool. So I'm going to turn all of this upside down so that I can bend the pipe so that the bottom pipe, this full pipe, is going to start from 8 inches off the ground, and it's going to curve, and then once it goes past whatever I've got it blocked on, it's going to go straight with the rest of the floor. Okay, I haven't done any heating yet, but I've got a jig set up here. First of all, I put a cross member right where this pipe would have been, which is right in front of the tires. And in front of that's where my feet have got to go. So there's got to be a place here that is the highest I can get, because that's where the pedals have got to go, and my feet got to go all the way up and all the way down and still be able to clear top and bottom. So it's got to have some clearance there. And it'd be nice to have at least 12, possibly 14 inches at 30 inches from the front. So 30 inches from the front's right here and right there. So I'm going to heat up this section from here to here. And then I'm going to pick this up so that that will bend down on the back part, so that the top of this is 14 inches, top of that's 14 inches, top of that bucket's about 14 inches, and that'll be flat over there, and then there'll just be a little curve right here, and that'll be equivalent to where this one had gone straight to here and then started going up here, and it is curved, not just kinked in one spot. So I'm going to try to do the same thing, have a slight curve and no kinks, and at 30 inches I'll have it basically the same height as these, so that my feet will not hit the bottom when I'm pedaling. So I'm going to heat those up and we'll go from there. Okay, update on what we're doing here. We've taken some plumbing tees, 1/2 inch PVC, cut them in half, and we're using them on these struts, one on each end. Usually I glue them and rivet them and hollow out this little thick spot in the middle here, but I'm lazy today, so I'm just riveting it and reinforcing it with tape after, like I did these. Now these tees, I just cut the outside edge off so that this can be smooth out here, and this is going to be on the inside, so it'll be able to be smooth on the outside as well. So I've cut 4 struts, 2 over there, 2 for over here, and I'm going to cut 2 more for the back, and we're going to put it together with rivets reinforced with tape. And I've got well, this bottom will be down when I put it together, so that it'll be, yeah, the way it should be. Okay, I've got the bottom part of the frame and the side parts of the bottom layer all fabricated here. Notice I've got my half pipes just sitting out straight. Now if I turn the whole thing over, fit it on the bike, make sure it fits right, and then put my top rail, which will be the half pipe, then the bottom half of my capsule will be finished. Notice I've got a string up the middle. I marked the middle of this front piece, the middle of that piece, the middle of that piece, and of course the center on the back. And all the marks line up. And the front, I took my square and put it right on the front here, and it's almost square. It's not quite, but neither was that one when I built it, but it worked out. So now I'm going to flip this over and work on getting the top rail pipes. And in fact, I'm gonna have to at least set them up there before I try putting them on the bike, because it's, well, when I flip it over I can put the bike on top of it. So, alright, that's what we're doing next. Okay, I have got some more done. For mounting it, I have got tie-ups on the back. I've got a tie-up on the front, right here in the middle. And I may put one more bar across here and put a tie-up straight to the center. So I'm going to take it for a ride right now, actually. above that, looking forward at least, is going to be the windshield. I got it so I can't make really tight turns. Yeah, I'm going to have to put a bar across the front to tie it up. Back it up from inside without sticking my feet down, just by grabbing the wheels. Yep, this'll work. That brace on the right side right there is really good. Just put one again on the left side as well. Okay, if I lock the brakes, I'm going to put the camera down so I can... I'm going to be able to get out. Stand on the seat and step over. Oh, that don't look bad. Considerably narrower. Yeah, I should push that out a little bit with a brace. Or loosen that brace so it comes in a little bit. Looks good. Okay, I have made a few changes here and there. Put a brace on this strut here just to keep it out sturdier. The other one seems to be holding up, so I may put one there later. I took a pipe and bent it and put it into this half pipe rail all the way around. And of course it's flexible and it's trying to be straight, so it's pulling everything in. So I need to keep it taped while I'm doing that. And when I go to put the top on, make sure I push these out. Maybe even put a stick across there just to hold it out for a while. Two changes, two improvements, two things that I've figured out. First of all, Coroplast. The same stuff that I used for my floorboards of my other thing, I can get in a 4x8 sheet. It's basically plastic cardboard. And it fairly rugged, and it'll, if I rivet it to where I need it, except here I'm gonna have to put some glue on it, but if I put it into place, tape it on, and rivet it and glue it, it'll be much more sturdy than this stuff that I've got on my other capsule. Alright, also the top originally was going to have the whole top flip up. Alright, earlier I was saying about the changes. I'm going to use Coroplast for the siding of this. Still going to use greenhouse plastic on the bottom. And the Coroplast back here can go all the way up. I don't have to cut it in two pieces. So I'm going to use a sheet and I'm going to cut an L-shaped piece 8 feet long, which will bring us right about to here. Then I'll cut in a little piece for there. But it'll come back to about the seat and then straight up and then cover the whole side. And the same thing on the other side. And then basically everything on top or on the upper layer here is going to be either plexiglass, Lexan, or shrink wrap. And I'm also going to have some Coroplast on the top, right over top of my head. So anyway, I'm going to try to bend this. I've got it rigged up here so it's plugged into the back with some T's, and this is about the right height so that my feet will barely clear. I need to bring it up just a hair more because this will be just about right, like that. So I need to heat those up and bring them down, and then when I'm done I can rivet them right to that spot, but I gotta make sure they're long enough. So I'm gonna heat those up, bring them down. I think I'll put another spacer back here just to be able to get those fronts to come in. Alrighty. Okay, I've got a little bit more secure set up. 30 inches to the top, down there to the floor. The shoe, when it comes up, is clearing the pipe. It's pretty much centered where I want it. I've got a box over here to keep it wide enough where my head is going to be. Though that's going to be narrower when I get done. But this part here has got to be this wide to be able to get my feet up in there and either hit the pipe or just between the pipe. So got it set up basically the way it's going to be. Now I've got to bend them. So I'm going to heat those up until they droop down to that point right there. And then we'll heat them up, flatten it out, pop rivet it, cut it off. Okay, I've got one of the pipes bent down. Now if I can match the bend of that pipe with the other one, it'll be just about where I want it. So let's see what I can do. Alright, now I've got one side squished down, bent over, and a temporary rivet set in there. And now when I push the other one over, it's going to be too wide, but it'll be good. It'll be good that way. So I'll work on the other one. Okay, with the brace or the block removed, this is tipping over a little bit, so when I go to put this strut in, I gotta make sure I put it long enough so that it pushes it over a little bit that way, so that the shoe, well, the shoe's right about in the right spot, so maybe it just gotta go up. Yeah, I can go over a little bit. So it looks fairly symmetrical. Side looks down a little bit maybe. Looks pretty good. From the back it looks a little different. Yeah. That side looks a little higher at the peak than this one. So when I do that, it straightens it up. Alright, that'll work. Okay, I have taken the pipe that went all the way back to here and I disconnected it. And I heated it up and bent it so it went up and over underneath these two pipes and then back down on this side, and I put an elbow. Excuse me. Put an elbow on this side. Now, the only concern I have is when I untape it there and there, this is going to have a tendency to come out. And I've got to counteract that somehow. And I can't put a piece of plywood across here to gusset it because my head's going to be there. In fact, right here on top, I may have to heat it up and bend it up so I can get some clearance because it looks a little bit low for my head. Alright, now this has got to go in there like that. So, I don't think the strength of this bent PVC pipe is going to be strong enough to hold it. So when I release those two, well, anyway, before I do that, I'm going to take another piece of pipe, run it through here and up and over and down and back to the back for part of the frame in the back. That way this front part can lift up and open and I can step in, and the back part can stay where it is. So that's what I'm going to do. But you can see the shape of the bike coming together nicely. I'm still going to have a strut over here to hold this side up to make it a little bit more even than it is now. But other than that, it's coming together nicely, and I can start putting either plexiglass, Lexan, Coroplast, plastic on the bottom, paint it all up, and ready to roll. Alright, I have fabricated another hoop over the top here. Hopefully I got enough room for my head under there. I haven't really tested it out, but I gotta rivet those to the top of it like that, and then rivet these things into place that I've got loose, and then I'll be able to cut the two pipes on top and be able to fit it. Alright, I've done a bunch of adjusting. I have braced this out right here while I heated this pipe to get it to bend out further, and that did good. This thing on the end here, I tried to push the back of the bike over by screwing a screw up through the bottom of my brace into the plywood. That kind of pushed that over, but that still needs to kind of push that over as well, and it's a little bit off, but I think it's pretty much symmetrical, except the joint, and it's pretty good. That's the way we're going to have it. And I've got different, well, I had a 4x8 sheet of Coroplast that I bought from Home Depot that is just too flimsy. It's just, well, it's in there. Thin sheet. But the same thickness I had before for my floorboards for my other thing, made out of this right here, and it's much more rugged. So I've got 5 pieces of basically sign board that I'm going to make the side panels for the race car here. I'm going to have the flutes going up and down. Oh, wait a minute. I can't do that. I thought these were longer than this. Oh well. I'll figure out something. But that's what we got for now. I think my head is pretty good now.
Okay, good. It's pretty dark, yeah, but it'll come out fine. Classic one.
Well, there's headroom now.
Good, awesome.
We modified it enough. You can stop it.
Okay.
Okay, in preparation for covering the bike, I have covered the spokes on the wheels and painted them black, at least on the outside. The inside I'd like to be able to see through it so I can see where the valve stem is. Then I laid a piece of plastic on the ground and pulled the bike over on top of it, marked on the floor where it needed to be cut, and got a slit for the back wheel and cutouts for the sides. Alright, now I'm going to roll it forward, put it back over the holes, and pull it up and cut it around the edge and tape it up. Okay, in preparation for covering the race car, capsule, whatever, I have covered the spokes on all the wheels. I used double sticky tape. You can see it over there. It's white. Double sticky tape on the rim on both sides. Covered it with plastic, made a slit which overlaps right at the valve stem. and I painted them black so that at least the portion that shows when I'm done is black. But that encloses the spoke so that there's less aerodynamic drag with all those spokes flying through the air. And this makes it less drag. And then I put it on top of this plastic and cut out, or I marked out the slots for the back tire and the cutouts for the front tires. And now I'm gonna pick it up and start taping it to the frame, trimming it, and covering the bottom, and then I'll paint the front part of it black, but not until I get it all nice and tight. Alright, with some double sticky tape in front of and in back of each wheel, halfway up to the front, one spot in the front here, and a couple spots in the back, in front of and behind the back wheel, I've got the plastic kind of pulled up and just hanging there a little bit, and the only bad spot is under the center, right in here, where it feels kind of loose. The side over here feels nice and tight, but it needs to go that way, so we're gonna have to shift it a little bit. Now let me see here. I've got, after double sticky taping the plastic to the bottom, I had my daughter hold the back tight, and I worked on 6 inches at a time, pulling it tight on both sides, and I've got it fairly centered, and I'm off about 1/4 of an inch. I need to cut off a little bit of the plastic that's rubbing on this wheel over here. But then I painted underneath black, and I just took it for a ride, and something was weird. Something kind of pulled, like the rear wheel was catching on something, but I don't know what. Maybe this strap right here. Can't tell. But anyway, I got it back here. Next thing I got to do is put the siding on. And that's it for now. Well, I've got the back panels on. And before I can do any more, I got to cut these off. And I can't find the new saw blades I just barely bought. But the curvature of that board is nice. I like it. It's gonna look good. Where's my blades? Okay, I am putting the siding onto the vehicle right now. The back piece, I had the flutes going horizontally, and from there forward the flutes going vertically. Now on the top of these sheets we got to connect to this half pipe, and obviously I can't rivet it. So what we're doing is put some tape on it to keep it in place, and then I'm going to run a bead of glue up the inside like I did on the other thing. And to cut it, you know, I mark it and I just cut it with a knife like that. So the back of the capsule got good lines. This canopy's out of place because I was showing how we did these here. So when that goes back into place like that, And this goes back down where it belongs, over here. And the capsule is basically shaped like that. And we're going to keep working on it. Oh, to cut. I usually use a straight edge, usually a framing square. I'll put it along my line. And if the line is curved, I do it in sections and just draw my knife across the thing. Well, I've got the siding on. I got the roof cut, but I'm not going to put that on because I got to paint it black. But the siding is all on. I've just got to glue up underneath the joint. I might make a piece up the back too, just to fill in the gap. Nice symmetrical, nice lines. Now I gotta cut the plexiglass or the Lexan for the windows. Okay, I have painted the sides. And I painted the top. The top is sitting on top of the trash cans over there. Painted black. I painted the front black. Painted the sides yellow. Painted the top black. I think it's going to be a fairly good looking machine. Now I got the top just sitting on top here. It's got to be bolted down, riveted down. Black top, yellow side, black bottom. I think it's a pretty good looking machine. I get the glass on it. I'll take it out for a spin. Oh, I gotta trim it with some black tape too. Well, I got the windows on the sides installed. Oops. Back this out so I can see. Still gotta rivet the top on. Sunlight coming in is making that not so good. I gotta put a front window on yet too. Well, I've pretty much finished the capsule. I even did some black tape trim across the top. Might do a strip down the middle and a strip around the bottom as well, but I may put that off. Looks nice and streamlined from the back. I've taken it for a ride. I'm pleased with the performance. Though I'd like to see what's going to happen when I get back into shape. Get some food in me. Let's see what we can do.
I didn't zoom it last time. Closer.
Alright, the last few additions I had to do to the capsule is a breathing hole, place for air to get in, because gee, I've got a little teeny bit of a hole here and around the wheels, and that's it. Well, when you get in there and it's a hot sunny day and you get moving, you want some air blowing on you, and you want it blowing on your face. So I cut a little spot right here that comes up, and I put a little cardboard on there, 2 different sizes. One that'll bring it up about 3/4 of the way, and when you just have nothing holding it, it'll stay up about a 1/2 inch by itself. But I put this side up and it'll stay up 1 inch. You put this side up, they'll stay up about 1.5 inches. I thought maybe I could see red lights through that as well, but not so. So I cut another couple inches forward so that this can bend down, so that while I'm riding, if I need to see a red light as I'm approaching it, I can just pull that down, and that'll give me the sight forward to a red light. So those are the holes. I also made a mirror on my strut right there, so that I can see traffic coming behind me. At first I had the strut covered with a mirror all the way up, and that's right where my foot was hitting it, so I had to take it off and cut it and remount it and readjust it. So right now, when my head is right back here where it belongs, and I look at that mirror, right here you see a little area that looks right back, and that shows me the cars, the line in the middle of the road, and everything. And that's about all I can see with that mirror. Just one little spot coming right through here. Anything closer than that, the side of the capsule here is curved, and is not curved enough up here to be able to see through. It just kind of reflects back. But the one hole where I need to see, which is right over there, it does show nicely. And that hole on top scoops in plenty of air, blows right in my face where I need it, keeps me cool, and seeing the red lights is a lot better now. And so that's what we've got for our capsule.